Hi everyone, this is Astrid Northrup. Welcome to my presentation entitled Family of Origin as a Factor in Choice of College Major. This study came from my personal observation as an engineer and an engineering professor. Back in 1986, I graduated from the Montana College of Mineral Science and Technology with bachelor and master's degrees in petroleum engineering. And since that time, I've worked as an engineer and as an engineering professor at Northwest College in Powell, Wyoming. In the 31 years I've been practicing, I've noticed that many female engineers come from all-girl families. And so I wanted to investigate this question. First of all, I wanted to see if it was true, and I wanted to quantify if it was statistically significant. And second, I wanted to look into this phenomena and see if there were other correlations that could be studied as well. My literature search revealed that the choice of college major among many students is influenced by social and personal factors and is not necessarily related to ability. There are a lot of factors such as modeling by demographic group that can encourage students to choose a major, and other factors such as stereotype threat or lack of social network that can discourage a student from choosing a particular college major. And for this reason, often the best and the brightest students are not successful, while students with less ability are successful. So I was very interested in studying and learning more about the idea of what leads a person to choose a particular major in college. And I specifically wanted to do a quantitative study to see if my original observation was correct and if it was statistically significant. Was it true that girls studying engineering were more likely to come from all-girl families? So I created a questionnaire in SurveyMonkey. It's made up of 14 questions involving demographics and family of origin. I shared the survey with political science classes at Northwest College during the spring of 2017, and I also shared it on social media. I received 182 responses with majors from 7 primary areas of study. If you look at this is the first page of my questionnaire, and you'll see that the primary area of study in college actually corresponds to the 7 colleges at the University of Wyoming. I left an open answered question for number 3, what is your college major, in order for students to fill in the blank and put exactly what they were studying. But my initial work just quantified based on the 7 primary areas broken out in question 2. The next questions 4 through 7 have to do with brothers and sisters, numbers of each, and whether those brothers and sisters are older than you. The next slide shows some demographic information that I collected: class standing, GPA, gender, and if the student was a first generation college student, in addition to the student's age. I haven't done any analysis with this demographic information except for gender, but it would be interesting to, for example, study whether first generation college students choose majors differently than students whose parents have been to college. So for my results, of my 182 respondents, I found that 70% of the respondents have brothers, 71% of the respondents have sisters, 5% of the respondents are only children, and that the percentages are similar for the males, from whom I got 54 responses, and females, from whom I got 128 responses. So this is a little piece of the spreadsheet that tabulated the percentages based just on the supergroups of everybody, males and females. And you can see that the percentages are very similar for brothers, sisters, and then only children for everybody. And when you break it out into males and females, the percentages don't change very much. So I then broke out this data, the percentage of students with sisters, the percentage of students with brothers, and on the next slide you'll see the percentage of only children. I broke it out based on the general area of study, ag and natural resources, arts and sciences, and so forth. And what you can see here is that all of the categories are close to that average of 71%. There's a little bit more difference with brothers, but the average of 70% is still pretty close to the average for each of the subgroups, and differences are not terribly pronounced. Now for only children, the difference is pronounced from major to major. As you can see, business and other undeclared actually have 0% in the respondents of my survey actually had 0% of only children in those two categories, whereas education was quite low at 2%. Engineering was high at 10%, and ag was very high at 14%. Arts and sciences was at 7%, so similar to the aggregate average. So the difference I see here is that both ag and natural resources and engineering are far above the average at 15% and 10% respectively. When I further subdivided the data, not just by area of study, but also broke the area of study out into females in that area of study and males in that area of study, differences became a little bit more pronounced. And to answer my original question about female engineers having no brothers, it seems like it was an accurate observation. Female engineers are much less likely to have brothers. About 47% of female engineers have brothers, compared to 70% of all respondents. But other categories were low as well: males in education and males in arts and sciences. As far as sisters, men and women in health sciences are high at 100 and 92% respectively, and males in arts and sciences are low at 8%. For only children, the difference is very pronounced from major to major by gender. This, in my opinion, is the most dramatic graph. The average percentage of only children, as you recall, is 5% for all respondents, and basically no subgroup, except male engineers at 6%, are anywhere near the average. Most groups have no only children, while ag majors, male education majors, and female engineers are very high, between 13 and 20%. So it seems that my observation was correct, but incomplete. My experience as a female engineer led me to notice that female engineers tend not to have brothers, but from this study, I learned that more female engineers are only children, and that gender and major differences are correlated to families of origin across the academic spectrum. One particular data point I'd like to break out is male and female students in nursing. I've not broken out nursing in particular, but just left it as part of health sciences. But since nursing has such a strongly associated gender stereotype, it would be interesting to see what the percentages of brothers and sisters and onlys look like for male and female nurses. These references provided excellent insight into the correlation, but especially foundational is the first, Gender of Siblings and Choice of College Major, by Anelli and Perry. This study was performed in Italy and had over 30,000 respondents over the 20-year period from 1985 to 2005. This huge study shows a strong correlation between gender of siblings and choice of major. Specifically, if a student's siblings are all the same gender as the student is much more likely to choose against gender stereotype as a field of study. For example, female engineers and male nurses tend to come from families of all girls or all boys, respectively. Thank you for watching my presentation. I've watched a couple of our classmates' presentations, Jay's and Chantel's, and they were very good. I'm looking forward to watching the rest. Good luck to all of us for the remainder of the semester. Happy summer.